No, no, no.
Thank you.
There's some light.
Yes, the lights are here. The up one, the up, yes, upward one.
And also for you.
Oh, yeah, now yes, it. Shri Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Did you change something there?
I think it's maybe the sound that you. Yeah, I think this one is the next instead. I think so.
Shanti needed a little bit more time to prepare her lecture, so the sound is giving some. Huh? Yeah. Huh? Could be this, huh? Hmm?
It's good now?
It's good
No,
now.
it's not okay.
Now it's okay, but there's no sound.
I think if you turn it up.
Now there is no sound as well, but
Oh,
it's okay.
okay.
At least we don't have the other sound.
Can you try now?
No, there is no.
No?
Still not.
Battalabia, maybe perché devi dare la lezione tu.
Here it seems a little bit, but almost no volume.
It's
Yeah,
coming.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think should be okay.
Okay.
Is it good?
Yeah, it can, yeah, I think it's okay.
Let's not touch this one much.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Daria Jai.
Okay. So we are reading today from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, and the chapter is the chapter 25. And I think last week it was the verse 9, and now up till the next purport is on the verse 20. So just that we understand where we are, I think I will first read the other verses, and then we will read together this verse.
Mine doesn't work. Mine doesn't work. It's working, yeah.
Okay. So for sake of time, I will read just the English. So we start from verse number 10. I shall have to reside at Varanasi the rest of my life. If I do not try to carry out this plan, I shall certainly continue to suffer mental depression. Thinking like this, the Maharashtrian Brahmana extended an invitation to all the sannyasis of Varanasi. After doing this, he finally approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to extend him an invitation. At this time, Chandrasekhara and Tapana Mishra both heard blasphemous criticisms against Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and left very unhappy. They came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet to submit a request. They submitted their request, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing his devotees' unhappiness, decided to turn the minds of the Mayavadis sannyasis. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was seriously considering meeting with the Mayavadi sannyasis, the Maharashtrian Brahmana approached him and extended an invitation. The Brahmana submitted his invitation with great humility, and he touched the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted his invitation, and the next day, after finishing his noontime activities, he went to the Brahmana's house. I have already described Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's deliverance of the Mayavadi sannyasis in the 7th chapter of the Adi Lila, when I described the glories of the Panchatattva, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, Gadadhar Prabhu, and Srivas. Since I have already described this incident very elaborately in the 7th chapter of the Adi Lila, I do not wish to increase the size of this book by giving another description, However, I shall try to include in this chapter whatever was not described there. Beginning from the day on which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his mercy to the Mayavadi sannyasis, there were vivid discussions about these conversations among the inhabitants of Varanasi. Crowds of people came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from that day on, and scholars of various scriptures discussed different subject matters with the Lord. And then we come to the verse of today. We do first the word by word, so that when we recite we understand a little bit the context. Sarva Shastra Kandi, defeating all the false conclusions of different scriptures. Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhaktikare Sara, established the predominance of devotional service. Bhakti Kare Sara. Sara, it means is the essence. And Bhakti Kare, so of Bhakti. What is the essence of Bhakti? It was, the essence is Bhakti of all the scripture. Sayukti Kavakye. By talks, this is Vakya, full of pleasing logic and arguments. Yes. Mana Piraya. He turned the minds. So Mana is mind and Piraya is like turn the minds of those who were coming to him by establishing Sara, the essence that is Bhakti. Sabara, everyone. So Sarva Shastra Kandi, so he was defeating, candying all the false conclusion of the Shastra, and Bhakti Sara, establishing Bhakti, and Sayuktika Vakya with words, so with pleasing words and arguments, and Mana Piraya, it turned the minds, Sabara of everyone. So this. Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu
Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sarva Shastra Khandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sarva Shastra Kandi Prabhu Bhakti Kare Sara.
Sayukti Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara.
Sayuktika Vakya Mana Piraya Sabara. Someone else? Okay. So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. When people came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to discuss the principles of various scriptures, the Lord defeated their false conclusions and established the predominance of devotional service to the Lord. With logic and argument, he very politely changed their minds. Purport. We have been spreading the Sankirtan movement in the Western countries, and in our recent tour of European cities like Rome, Geneva, Paris, Frankfurt, many learned Christian scholars, priests, philosophers, and yogis came to see us. And by the grace of Krishna, they agreed that the Krishna consciousness movement, the Bhakti cult, offers the topmost conclusion. Following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are trying to convince everyone that the devotional service of the Lord is enjoined in every scriptures. If a person is religious, he must accept the supreme authority of the Lord, become his devotees, and try to love him. This is the real principle of religion. It doesn't matter whether one is Christian, Muslim, or whatever. He simply must accept the sublime position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and render service unto him. It is not a question of being Christian, Muslim, or Hindu. One should be purely religious and freed from all this material designation. In this way, one can learn the art of devotional service. This argument appeals to all intelligent men, and consequently, the Krishna consciousness movement is gaining ground throughout the world. Due to our solid logic and scientific presentation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction that Krishna consciousness will spread to every town and village throughout the world is gradually being realized. We can, one more time, I'll read the translation and you can repeat. When people came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to discuss the principles of various scriptures, the Lord defeated their false conclusion and established the predominance of devotional service to the Lord. With logic and argument, he very politely changed their minds. Wonderful. So we can recite together to receive some blessing. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijata Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Manchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master has been opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Therefore, I offer to him my most humble obeisances. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Guravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So first of all, I want to ask your permission to, because you are much older than me, and your blessings that by together reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita we can some or other have something that can be helping us to move forward or some new perspective in our spiritual life. So as we see here, we are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Varanasi. And somehow or other he was able to completely turn, it's nice this Piriya, is a Mana Piraya, is turning the mind of everyone. It's like, we know, first of all, actually, how he was conquering the mind of the sannyasi was by his beauty, actually. He was so effulgent and so beautiful, he did not even need actually to speak. After he spoke, and then they were completely convinced, but at the beginning it's just because of his beauty and his effulgence. And here we come to the time where this conversion has already been taken place, so their mind is changed of the sannyasi. You can imagine like Mayavadi sannyasi that now they chant the holy name, they dance with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's amazing if we really think about. But also like everyone in Varanasi, that is the city of learning. All great scholars, so everyone heard about that, and there were, I can imagine it in that time, debates, who is the most learned, and so everyone heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what happened, that the sannyasi Mayavadi, their mind was turned. So after this happened, so as we see crowds of people, many would come to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And because they could not believe what happened. And so they were also, I can imagine some maybe were even challenging or like this. And then we come to the verse of today, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, speaking with those different kind of people that will come to him, Bhakti Kare Sara. So he will take what is the essence, that is Bhakti, that is love for God. And it's interesting also because he was not like sometimes like Pandit or those who are scholars, they just want to make their own, but not. He was like actually, Prabhupada translate like very politely and very kindly. He was actually establishing the sense of Bhakti. And then I like it very much in the purport how Prabhupada explained actually his own the situation of the movement, like where he says, like we are also trying to do the same, to establish actually the essence of Bhakti. And I don't know if you noticed, there are even 3 times he's repeating the same concept. Could you guess what is this concept? That a few times Prabhupada is repeating in the purport the same. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I found it very, when I wrote, I thought, wow, what is this pure, speaking of pure religion, Srila Prabhupada. And I found, okay, what is pure religion? It just attracted my pure religion. And first I was just thinking of that, and like actually from Latin, we know religo is also to reunite. So it's actually yoga, is the same term of yoga. So pure religion finally is just to unite the soul with God, and so to develop love of God. That is, Prabhupada says, is beyond. So first he says, if a person is religious, he must accept the Supreme, become his devotee, and try to love him. So this is if a person is religious. And he say, and again he says, and this is the real principle of religion. That again he says, he simply must accept the sublime position of the Lord. and render service to him. And then a third time he say, one should be purely religious and free from all the material designation. Like this also twice, no matter you are Christian, Hindus, or anything, Prabhupada says, no matter from where you are, from where you come. And he say, in this way one can learn the art of devotional service. So yeah, I was actually, when I read the purport, it's very touching. Prabhupada speaks actually about himself and how, he's speaking not using I, but he says spreading the Sankirtan movement, but he himself, he say, I was just in an European tour. I was in Paris, in Frankfurt, in Geneva, and I met many religious, and I explained to them, so this common, and I was thinking, I kind of took out, I was touched by the broad-mindedness of Srila Prabhupada. And I decided to take a principle for this lecture, that actually by focusing on the essence, and he was saying also actually was also the quality of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, focusing that bhakti is the essence. So Srila Prabhupada the same, by focusing on the essence, actually we can become broad-minded. And we have such examples. We can see Srila Prabhupada. First I wanted to tell you one beautiful small pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, where Nanda Kumara, that is one of his disciples, is telling these stories that once they were in India, and together in south of India they went to visit a temple, and in this temple when they were there, and there was, I don't remember which deities, but there was the arti for the deities, and Nanda Kumara noticed, this temple was really not clean. So the pujari looked a little weird, little strange. And so he had some doubt in his heart because what he learned from Srila Prabhupada was different. So as they were coming out in the car, he asked to Srila Prabhupada, can I ask you a question? And Srila Prabhupada said, later. And then it happens that Nanda Kumar was alone with Srila Prabhupada. And then he asked, Srila Prabhupada, sorry, as I understood, you were teaching us punctuality and cleanliness, but when we were in this temple, I saw none of those things. Was Krishna really present in that deity? Because I could not perceive this. And Srila Prabhupada answered, yes, actually I could see that love was in the heart of that pujari. That pujari was so weird that when he was throwing the water, he was throwing the water all in the face of the devotees. But Srila Prabhupada said, no, I could see love in the heart of this pujari. And he said, yes, I gave this standard for you. But you should never criticize and not judge or impose anything on others. So I felt again an example of this Srila Prabhupada broad-minded and focusing on the essence. Was not at all about the externals, but the essence of bhakti. So in this lecture we will see a little bit at the beginning some other example of Srila Prabhupada, how he was actually manifesting or being a personification of this broad-mindedness. We will see a little bit, I was reflecting a little bit on my own and also what we heard actually from our spiritual master, the difference between being narrow mind and versus being broad mind. And then we will see in the third part how I called it how to step in the broad mind. So this is a little bit what we will discuss. Another example, how we can see how Srila Prabhupada was focusing on the essence. So we saw with this pujari, he could see that he was actually having a lot of devotion. Another example that came to our awareness is actually when Srila Prabhupada opened the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan. And at that time, actually, there were also, he was calling all the different Goswamis of all Vrindavan. But Srila Prabhupada later said, actually, it will be enough just to chant Hare Krishna while doing the installation of the deities. But because if I will do like that, not everyone will agree with that. Then we will use all the traditional old mantras and like this, so that it will be considered like real. But again, now Srila Prabhupada is focusing on the essence, what is really the important thing. Also, maybe I ask you, would you see any other example that shows this quality of Srila Prabhupada being so broad-minded? Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just remember when Prabhupada wanted to go to the West
Mm-hmm.
To preach Krishna consciousness.
Shri Jagannath Baladeva Subhadra Marani ki jai, Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai.
The Brahmanas were telling Prabhupada, you should not go, you're a sannyasi, you are not supposed to cross the ocean. And then Prabhupada waited for a little bit, and then sometimes he went back to the Brahmana and said, I think Srimad Bhagavatam should go to the West. And then he agreed, and then he said, I will bring Bhagavatam to the West.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, he was ready to step over some of the rules
Yeah.
to actually touch to the essence of what the scriptures are giving us.
Yes. Some other examples? Yes?
Maybe just remember one story where Srila Prabhupada invited his class brothers, if I remember correctly, and there was a Mataji that was
Mhm.
cooking for them, and everybody reacted. They were shocked because she was not supposed to cook as a Mataji for the men, but Srila Prabhupada said that no, she is my disciple.
Yes. This is one of the things I also definitely thought how again Srila Prabhupada showed this broad-mindedness and like being this broad-mindedness was rooted in his ability to see the spiritual essence beyond the material body or society or cultural barriers. So even like we saw when we came to the West, that was something that has never, Prabhupada did things that have never been done before in the Vedic culture, so much that he allowed ladies to be in the Brahmacharini ashram, to have brahmacharya. So this also is one of the other that really show the broad-mindedness of Srila Prabhupada. Something else?
Yeah, I was thinking the Prabhupada said that preaching is the essence.
Mm.
So he went, there are many examples how
Mm.
was preaching.
Mm.
For example, when Harigesh Prabhu was in Russia, he wrote to Prabhupada that, I cannot find
Mm.
food here.
Mm.
It's only eating only meat. And he said, you should remain there to preach, which is necessary to eat while you preach. Of course, he never did.
Yeah.
Food finally, but Prabhupada.
Amazing, no? Amazing, really amazing to see how broad mind again, no? Already he knew what was the essence and the rest, yeah. So he has this universal vision also. Wonderful. Yes, so yeah, we saw also how he was non-judgmental, and he was, I was thinking from where this was coming, and definitely he had a heart full of compassion, real compassion, so that he could, it was completely beyond. This morning when we were paying our obeisances, Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vachapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo, I was thinking, yeah, definitely this is the Vaishnava, this broad mind, and is a person that is like a desire tree, can fulfill the desire of everyone, and is an ocean is very deep and is like an ocean of compassion. So this is really what the mind, the heart, we can say, because in that sense the mind is in the heart when it comes to that level. It's not more mental, but it's in the heart. So the mind of a devotee, or who we are looking to move forward, it's an ocean of compassion and looking only for the welfare of others. Whoever he will meet, he looks for an uplifting experience, and that is not only with the non-devotees, but also with those who are very close to us in any relationship, to always think to the essence, how to uplift, how to have a growing experience together. And yeah, that brought me to think also, yeah, like a Mahatma, a great broad mind, a great soul. And the verse that say Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. So who is the Mahatma? Is Vasudeva Sarvamiti. This Mahatma is the one that for whom we can be translated in few ways, for whom Vasudeva is everything, for whom Krishna is everything, and naturally also for whom who sees Krishna everywhere. And the one who sees that there is, Krishna, Vasudeva, it's all pervading. Nothing, everything is my Lord. So this is the quality again of the devotee. Is this broad mind. He has no longer like this narrow mind, but is very broad mind. And I found a beautiful quote from Srila Prabhupada. And this Prabhupada says, this is actually in a conversation that Srila Prabhupada had, like here he says, I was able to convince many people. This is in one of these conversations, Srila Prabhupada says, Vasudeva sarvamiti, samahatma sudurlabha. When one realizes that God is everything, that is the statement in Bhagavad Gita. Mahatma means whose mind is great. The mind is great. Is not thinking ordinary things. Is thinking of greater subject matters. They are called Mahatma, broader-minded, broad-minded. So I found this a beautiful quotation of Srila Prabhupada, where he says, the Mahatma means a great mind, and he says he's not thinking on ordinary things. He thinks only on greater subject matters. So this brings us to the next part of the lecture, where I wanted to discuss a little bit the difference between this broad mind and be narrow-minded. I thought Sachinandra Maharaj also was speaking on this matter also in December when he came in Golokadam. Also, it gives us some idea also when we throw some light on this subject. It helps us also if we are reflective, like Srila Prabhupada says, is that we can meditate on greater subject matter. When we bring some light on this subject matter, we will much be able to recognize ourselves when we are in the narrow mind or where we are in a broad mind. So we will discuss a little bit this difference. And for this, again, there is a verse, 3 verses actually from the Bhagavad Gita. And like Sachinandra Maharaj will say, this is spirituality in practice. And actually the Bhagavad Gita gives us a lot also of tools that for a practical life. And we have the verses in the Bhagavad Gita 18, 20, 21 and 22 that explains actually knowledge in the different gunas. In Sattva guna, sorry, what time the lecture should finish? Gorari.
But for special guests, we can do
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Gorari is always telling me, you keep it simple.
It's Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
Simple is not simple.
Okay, I will try to go to the essence. So, spirituality in practice. So here in these 3 verses, we have actually, Lord Krishna is defining the 3 different kinds of knowledge in Tamaguna, Rajaguna, and Sattva-guna. I will make a little the summary without going through all of them. So first is describing like the knowledge in the Sattva-guna, in the mode of goodness. And here is interesting, is Sarva Bhuteshu Yenai Kam. So is he in all the living entity, is he just one? He is actually is not seeing difference, but again it is Vasudeva Sarvamiti. He sees the Lord everywhere. He sees only the spiritual energy. So this is actually knowledge in Sattva Guna that is encompassing, that is uniting. So this is like also Srila Prabhupada. I thought Srila Prabhupada has built a house where the whole world can live, no matter who you are. We have another beautiful verse of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a song actually saying, the boat of Lord Chaitanya is waiting on the ghat on the Ganga, and everyone can go there. Those who are lame, if you have no eyes, no problem. Everyone can go there. So this is, that is even transcendental beyond. But already Sattva Guna, we don't see any longer separation we see like spirituality, and so this is like again is the broad mind. Then we have the other two verses that explain actually knowledge. That is in first the one in passion, and is interesting again in the Sanskrit is using these two terms pritak tuena. That is again it means like dividing. And again, second time he say pritak vidan, that is again difference. So one who is in the mode of passion, he sees, because he doesn't see the spiritual, he see everyone different from the other. And also because he himself, he see I am mine. So it's kind of separating. What is my interest? What's in for me? So here this conflict, there is comparative. So this is, we enter in this narrow mind. What's in for me? And then it goes to the understanding on the level of tamaguna, that one, it's even, okay, this is even more narrow mind, completely. Yeah, so you don't see anything else that your own small, what is inside of you. And here in that knowledge which is attached, fully attached to only one kind of thing. So this is how Lord Krishna establishes and speak about this kind of from narrow mind to broad mind. So I was thinking a little bit to share what are the qualities of this being broad-minded. So one who is broad-minded is operating from a higher connection, like we saw. So he sees himself from the awareness of being a spirit soul and this connection with the Lord. So it's actually acting from that level. And so he's experiencing himself disconnectedness with the Lord, and he sees other like brothers and sisters. We are one family, so this is the vision. And so it's naturally he becomes compassion again, because he sees the Lord, he sees others are suffering. How can I help? So it's naturally compassionate and spacious, is encompassing for everyone. And he feels guided, being in this connection with the Lord. He is not normally we think, we plan and we do, what will I do? But this person, devotee with this kind of, is feel connected with the Lord. They feel the Lord is guiding me, is inspiring me in my life. Not that I have to, but it's like, he see the Lord guiding him. But when there is the narrow mind that we saw, like this is Tamaguna and Rajaguna, one actually operates more from a level of fear. How can I protect myself and being fearful and anxious? Is one become reactive and become defensive and comparing with other. Because again, here now is in this I and mine. So like this small world, so we need to protect ourselves. And he sees life through separation, like we saw also in the Bhagavad Gita. He remains stuck. If someone hurted him, if someone said some bad devotee, someone said something bad, it remains with him. Or he's always thinking of the future. And then he has a needs to control things. And he's very attached to his own way of thinking. So also when he's discussing with someone, he's very attached to the way he thinks. I think this is also, it's some things that every one of us can take the time and also reflect. How are we doing? Or we can see also when we are affected by this being narrow mind. And we can say, I like it very much, the example. So a narrow mind, it's colored by the false ego. Yeah, so with this identify false identification, and we identify with opinion, with limitation, while the broad mind, there is this awareness of the spiritual self. So, okay, I was thinking different examples in the scripture, but I see the time is there, so I just will go over that. And I want to go now to the third step, where the one I called step into the broad mind by focusing on the essence. And there I will again I found a beautiful quotation from Srila Prabhupada that I will read to you. This quotation says, this is actually from the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.28. So Srila Prabhupada says, therefore, all culture of knowledge, austerities, sacrifice, and activities should be aimed at changing the quality of the influence that is acting upon us. So here Srila Prabhupada start from that because he's speaking about the Mahatma. And there is another verse in the Bhagavad Gita where it says that the Mahatma is one who is under the Daivi Prakriti, under the divine, there is this divine connection, divine energy. So here Srila Prabhupada says that all culture of knowledge should be aimed at change the quality of the influence that is acting on us. For the present, we are all being controlled by the external energy of the Lord. And just to change the quality of the influence, we must endeavor to cultivate spiritual energy. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are Mahatmas, or those whose minds have been so broadened, again, as to be engaged in the service of the Lord, are under the influence of the internal potency. And the effect is such broad-minded living beings are constantly engaged in the service of the Lord without deviation. That should be the aim of life. And so, here we see Prabhupada is mentioning this changing the quality of the influence where we are. And so I was thinking how to step into this broad mind. Definitely first is, as we saw, actually striving daily in our life to be on the level of Sattva-guna. So to change and to recognize when we are, even just sometimes we have our strong opinion, we can see actually this is not Sattva-guna. So to recognize and to move to that level of Sattva-guna. And this, if we are interested, we can, in the Bhagavad Gita, we can really check, we can check in our life how are we doing on the level of Sattva-guna. And then the other, how to step in the broad mind by focusing on the essence. So this essence is the fact, like Prabhupada was mentioned, is that we are spirit soul, that we are servants of the Lord. So remember always who we are. Yes, because I don't know, I can see myself many times, I'm so much in my own world, thinking, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, but how much am I really realizing that I'm a spirit soul, so acting from the level of being a spirit soul. And so with this of being a servant, I was thinking definitely if we will be realized in the thought of being a servant, even in the dealing with others, we will never, if we think we are servant, we will never try to establish our own. I mean, there are at times when it's needed, but in general, if we are really realizing that we are servant of the Lord, how will our action will be? So we can also meditate how a servant is thinking, how a servant is acting. We can have it in the morning also when we wake up. Today, I want to act with this identification, not of my I and mind, but of being a servant of the Lord. So constantly remembering and trying to apply this in our life and being aware, recognizing when we are, like we saw this, when we have like narrow mind. So recognizing this and making immediately the shift. So I belong to you, my dear Lord, I am your servant, okay, this happened, I can recognize this and change it. So, and I was also thinking, so these three things, Sattva-guna, act from the platform of being a servant, and also, remember that we are never alone. That Krishna is in our. I had just few days. I'm thinking on these matters also, like how many times again I'm just caught in my own thoughts. But I'm never alone. The Lord is there, always with me. Prabhupada would say also, the spiritual master is always there with me. How would I act if, on one side, there is a beautiful poem and prayer that one devotee wrote, that I'm walking in my life. In one hand, I take I have the hand of my dear Lord. In the other hand, I have the hand of my spiritual master. How it will be, our actions will be, how our thoughts will be, if we will always be hand by hand with our spiritual master and with the Lord. So these are just some thoughts that I hope, food for thoughts, that we can keep with us and little reflect. Yes, and by the way, I wanted just to say, if you see in the Bhagavatam, it's full of examples how from narrow mind to broad mind. I was thinking who was Vritasura before? Chitraketu. And he was also a devotee, but at some point, when he saw Lord Shiva, he also is shifting this narrow mind. He saw separation, he saw, Shiva with Parvati. He went into the narrow mind and he switched. Something happened, but then he became, when he is like Vritasura, that again is not connected really with the external. He had such a broad mind. We had the Avanti Brahmana, that before he was so narrow mind and so attached to money and to this, and he was not caring how he was being, and then he became, something happened. Most of the time something has to happen to us so that we really make this real, forever shift. And he also turned, and then he was the Avanti Brahmana afterward. He could see the Lord everywhere in everything. So it's really, if you go through, it's really full, the Bhagavatam, of this description of shift of consciousness. And so we were trying, the principle was like how by focusing on the essence again of being servant of the Lord, of being in this consciousness of how bhakti is the essence of love, then we can become broad-minded. We saw Srila Prabhupada, many of the examples of Srila Prabhupada, he himself, he was like a representative, he was a Mahatma, a broad-minded person. We saw also in the second part a little bit about we started from the Bhagavad Gita, where there were the description of Tama, Raja and Sattva-guna, the knowledge, and we saw the qualities of someone who is with narrow mind and the qualities of some mind that is a big mind. And then we looked how to step into this broad mind, and mainly we brought like Sattva-guna, constantly bring Sattva-guna in your life, and the second was to act from a position of being a servant, and always remembering we are walking, in one hand we have our spiritual master, and in the other hand we have the hand of the Lord. In this way we should walk through life, in this way we should act towards other. So I would like if you have some insights on the topic or some question, maybe 5 minutes, we go up till 15. I will just ask first, would you have something to add?
So wonderful. We need to add nothing.
Okay. Is there any question? Any? Yes.
Thank you so much for your lecture. It's very nice. So you mentioned that we have to step on this broad-minded mind, stepping into focusing on the essence, but this essence needs to be influenced by like great souls, if I understood correctly, or can it also be influenced? Because sometimes, you can also think that, I'm thinking more broad-mindedness, like where is the, like how broad-minded can you be? Because there is also like
Yeah, definitely, like there are different levels of being broad-minded. Like there is Sattva-guna, and then there is even transcendence, and then we have like Mahatma, or we have Srila Prabhupada, that is like a pure devotee, where practically our consciousness is like you can. I think when we are like kind of in Tamaguna, actually this also Lord Krishna is explaining, our consciousness is shrinking, right? So even our choices are very limited. We think we choose, but it's very limited. You can see when it's in Tamaguna, we go maybe to the extreme, for example, those who are taking intoxication or like this, they cannot choose any longer. This is dragging them down. So the consciousness becomes very narrow, very shrinking. So this is definitely the opposite of being a Mahatma, a broad mind. Then if you move towards Rajaguna, it's already moving a little bit. And you are still your choices become little more. And then you go to Sattva-guna and your choices become more. So the consciousness, it means the consciousness is also becoming little more broad. It's like a seed and a flower, no? And then as more also, so we come to Sattva-guna, as we realize, and we really live with this, that I am a servant, I'm a spirit soul. Then there is no boundaries for spirit souls. We see Narada Muni, I mean, he can go from one planet to the other. He's not limited by this body any longer. So it's really like a broad, it's the all range, no? And definitely, I was also reflecting on that, to become broad-minded. If you want to develop certain qualities, it's also good to associate with those who have those qualities. And what Srila Prabhupada was just so compassionate, so broad-minded. He left with us the scriptures. At any time we want, we can associate with him. And I think every one of us, when you connect, if we are able to deeply take to the scripture, again, this is making our consciousness. Then we enter in that consciousness, because Prabhupada, how many times he said, you are a servant? How many times he said, constantly. So we are reminded, it's like it's like throwing some light in our small consciousness, in our small world, because we all know, being conditioned soul by the gunas, and in this body, it's also natural, we are so concerned about everything, what is happening, we can even die at any moment. So it's natural that we can easily go into this narrow mind, because this is the situation where we are. It's not an easy situation where we are. We are entrapped inside this body, inside this world, where Lord Krishna said this world is a world of suffering and temporary. But so we need, it can happen. So that's being in contact constantly with those who are like Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, or those who are broad-minded. Definitely, it's immediately is changing our vision. So definitely this is very powerful, association with those who are broad-minded. And the whole process we are following, it helps us to be broad-minded. That's, I hope this helps to some extent.
Yeah, it's just sometimes like I know that it's important to follow the rules and regulation, but sometimes I'm like, oh, what can I do as, for example, as Mataji, can I do that or that? Yeah, you always feel not anxious, but then I wonder, like, from this, like, more narrow-minded to broad-minded, because everybody's equal in the end, but
it's also, it is a gradual process also. So as we progress, so through our practice, so naturally we come closer and closer. Again, Prabhupada was so much, actually spiritual life starts from when you understand that you are not this body. And we think, yes, but I practice since not so long, since 25 years or like this, and I'm still, my goodness, I'm so far from realizing that I'm not this body. And this is just the beginning of spiritual life. But still I can see a difference from the very beginning. So it's a gradual process, so gradually it becomes, and again also if you can take the help, from the most helpful thing from the scripture, or also like from those who are already on that level, constantly, daily. So listen, I don't know, I just think Keshava Maharaj, for example, or those who are broad-minded. And this will help you also to, and also again, also if you meet someone that is kind of, making separation, it's okay. Everyone is trying their best from where they are. But gradually, you can, I don't know, would you have something else to add to that?
I had some thoughts, but I'm not sure if it's fully, I was thinking, what is the difference between being broad-minded and over-permissive? Or to just allow everything because...
love. Yes.
I think it's interesting because when you focus on the essence, it seems to be narrowing on the essence, that gives like the proper broad-mindedness, which is focused on the spiritual essence. That's the real broad-mindedness that we speak. But I thought we could also think of being broad-minded.
Thank you. Yes. No, thank you for the point, because also at the beginning of our spiritual life, see also how Srila Prabhupada perfectly established a process. No, actually we need rules, regulation also. Is to help us to grow. But when we come to the level where it needs to be also organically growing, we cannot fake it. So that's why there is the sadhana bhakti. That is a process that helps us to arrive to Bhava Bhakti. And Bhava Bhakti is where this full love is manifested. And yeah, but still also when you are there, you still follow the rules. But these rules are necessary for us to grow. Yeah. So in that sense, and it's not like now one is broad-minded, there is no more rules. It's not like that. That's why Srila Prabhupada also gave a sadhana bhakti, the process, the true rules, to a process that helps us to purify and to grow. And naturally, as we say, it's really organically. We cannot just, with sincerity, as we practice our consciousness, slowly is opening. But these are also necessary. You wanted to say something, Bhattarabhya?
Maybe on this point that at the beginning you follow the regulative principle because they say, you read, they say,
I have to.
And when you become purified, you follow naturally.
I love to. I want to.
It's not always important, it's just becoming natural.
Yes. Organically. So it's the beginning is, yeah. So in that sense. I see it's 15 before 9. There is still a question, but shall I just take it after or what we do? Huh? Okay.
I think we need a translator.
Ира, можешь? Ира, переведи, пожалуйста. Я хотела попросить, поблагодарить вас за лекцию. Вы ответили на несколько вопросов, которые были у меня в уме. Но у меня есть еще один вопрос.
I want to thank you for nice class, and you answered for some of my questions that I had in my mind, but I still have one question.
Я бы просила вас поделиться своим личным опытом, как вы дифференцируете состояние, когда вы в состоянии слуги и когда вы выходите из него. Как вы это различаете?
I have a question to you. Maybe you can share your personal experience, how you see that you are in mood of servant, and when you already not in this mood, when you lose it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, as a personal experience, as I was saying, the importance also of meditation and reflection. So again, because we are since lifetimes identifying with the body and the mind, even more. So we really think that we are this body and this mind. So as an opposite, it's also to meditate, like we have also the Bhuta Shuddhi prayer, no? It's like Brahmanas and Pujaris, they know that like before entering in the temple, in the altar, we have like, it's called Bhuta Shuddhi prayer, where we say, by nature I am the eternal servant of Krishna, per natura sono l'eterno servitore di Krishna, ma a causa di essere identificato, I know it in Italian, but by being identified with this body for many lifetimes, but now I understood that I'm your servant, and by the mercy of my spiritual master, I can now serve you. So it's we can say it's like you can have it because naturally right now we identify with this body and with this mind, with the problems that we have in our life to maintain ourselves, whatever it comes. But so it's to regularly from the morning when we wake up, remembering I am actually a spirit soul, I am a servant of the Lord, and then during the day again, and take time to reflect also. Then you come to the evening and you think how I did today. Was I really acting always from being a servant, or are there some situation where not? And you can recognize. And then okay, the day after it's again and again. So you constantly bring it back, and this again, it's by our endeavor, and we know, but spiritual knowledge is like Bhakti, our spiritual master, like very much this sentence. Bhakti is something that is given, is not how he was saying. Yeah, something to understand. Everything in Bhakti is given. So we make the endeavor, but it's a realization, it comes from up. So we all do this endeavor so that one day our spiritual master, with the blessing of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, will say they will see, and they give, okay, let the soul realize, and with their blessing, then we will realize, okay, I'm not this body, then there is no fear on any longer, and then we are always acting from the level of a servant. Another thought I had yesterday, because it's something I'm thinking also, do menial service. I thought yesterday, yeah. So this is always serve others, and then we are more prone to do activities of a servant. Always think, again, I was thinking, one day I was also thinking, okay, what does it mean to be a servant? How a servant is acting, how a servant is speaking. So we need to meditate, like Prabhupada say, no? The Mahatma are those who are thinking on great subject matters. So this subject matter needs to be take place in our mind, so that slowly the other I and my goes out. So it's a gradual process, and we have to take the time to do. But start by waking up in the morning, I am your servant. During the day, bring back, I am your servant. I am my husband has also a quotation from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, that by remembering that we are servant, we are always blissful, or something like that.
I mean, that's for sure. I mean, most of the time we are identified as body and mind, but whenever we remember we are servant, it's just such a blissful moment. It's just such a, actually that's in the 11th canto, when there is the discussion with Hamsa Avatar coming, answering the question from one of the 7, I don't remember their names, but the question that, I think it was Sanat Kumar that had the question, how can we detach the sense object from the senses? And Brahma did not know how to answer, and then Hamsavatar come, and Hamsavatar say, you cannot separate the object of the senses and the senses, you cannot, but you can detach yourself from the mind and the senses. And then I think it comes in a purport or a commentary when it say, when you remember you are of the same nature as the Lord, then naturally all the attachment of the modes of material nature are just totally released, just by remembering you have the same nature than the Lord.
Yeah. So it's a constant practice, and it starts also when we chant the holy name, chanting from the perspective, I am a servant. So, and then, yeah, gradually, organically, then it will grow. I hope this satisfies some or other. Yeah. Thank you very much, and yeah, wish a wonderful day. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai.
Jai.
Бурунишка, вы сегодня убираете Temple Room? Бурунишка, вы Temple Room убираете? Нет? Я потеряла иголку с ниткой. Если найдете, верните мне, пожалуйста.
Надо мне уделить лекцию.
Thank you very much for your class.
Очень сердечно.
Very touching.
Хотел бы спросить. Ну, говорят, мы в духовном мире и сюда никогда не приходили. Мы энергия парничная.
So we are for the energy of Krishna, and we were always in spiritual world and never came here.
Да, и вот это реально существует.
And this reality that manifest here,
Да, но я думаю духовного мира, что в этом теле.
but I'm now I'm in spiritual world, but now I'm thinking from spiritual world that I'm here in this.
И Прабхупада говорит, что нужно просто проснуться. Это сон.
And Prabhupada says that we just be awake.
И вернуться до Кришны. Прямо от духовного мира до Кришны повернуться.
And to
separate, they have to separate. And we created separation from the Lord and became so anxious, so independent. So we created a different, we had to create a different reality.
Мы создаем разделение с Господом, и таким образом we create this reality in our mind.
Even the consciousness starts.
То есть в своем сознании начинаем, мы создаем, создаем различия и создаем другую реальность, отличную от Господа.
But just, yeah, so for me what is important from where I am now, it's like to become aware all the time I am separate. I'm separating myself from the other.
То, что для меня важно понимать сейчас, на том уровне, на котором я нахожусь, это просто возвращать себя к пониманию, что я сейчас отделяю себя от Господа.
I became so angry to begin, but I didn't want to stay.
Я настолько завидую ему, что я не хочу находиться